So CNN had a House representative and fellow veteran on to discuss these baseless attacks that MAGA is bringing against Tim Walz and his service because they don't respect the military or those who serve for this country, that I thought would shed light pretty well on what's going on and will allow even further clarification as to what's the actual truth. So let's just look over a few of these and jump in with the context as always. Hey you! Yes, you! Did you know we have memberships for as low as $3 a month? You can help the channel grow, reach new heights, and help protect democracy. And you get a long list of exclusive perks, from members-only polls to getting my videos early. The link is always in the description of every video. If you want, go ahead and check that out. And thank you guys.
As a fellow veteran, you spoke out today about these attacks on your fellow Democrat. Why did you feel compelled to do so?
Because the accusations being lodged against Governor Walz are so incredibly offensive. It's reminiscent of the SWIFT vote bullshit that Senator Kerry faced in his election. We're seeing the same people trying to reignite this type of slanderous campaign against a man who served for 24 years in the National Guard. He served, generally people serve for about 20 years. He served 24 years of honorable service, got out before the announcement had even been made that his troops were deploying. So to try to make up some story against his service is really offensive, and even more offensive because these accusations are being lodged by another veteran.
If you asked me just a few weeks ago, disparaging a veteran from the party who relies on the military vote wouldn't have been on my bingo card, but here we are. Anything for MAGA to defend Trump. But to clarify also, the average service time is only around 4 years. Tim Walz served 6 times that. He served 24 years. But apparently, because he didn't spend his entire life in the military, because he didn't fight a pointless Republican war founded on lies, he's got stolen valor. And I want to clarify some of those claims as well, because they all boil down to being equally as false. About him retiring because he wanted to ditch deployment. First off, he filed with the FEC his intent to run for Congress in February of 2005. It wasn't until March that the National Guard was even told there would be possible mobilization. No specific battalions were named here, and it was also only a possibility at this point, of which again, he had already filed his intent to run for Congress before. He then went on to retire in May, and 2 months later in July, his battalion was notified of its mobilization alert. So he filed to run for Congress before it was ever a possibility of being deployed, and he retired before his battalion was notified that they would be deployed. So clearly he wasn't doing this to dodge deployment. And again, he then went on to fight against the Iraq war, oppose it largely, and fight for veterans' benefits. And as to him making false claims about carrying weapons of war, he was deployed across Europe and Turkey for Operation Enduring Freedom, where he helped with security missions directly tied to the Afghan war.
I just really want him to proudly talk about his time in service, because he has lived a lifetime of public service. And this is that same old tired playbook. They're like one-trick ponies against people who serve. And, you know, those of us who are veterans find it incredibly offensive, because it's not, you know, the details. It's the fact that here is a person who has spent his entire life in service to this country. So whether it was 24 years in the National Guard, or if it was the fact that he was a school teacher for over a decade, you know, he's been in Congress, he's been the governor, now he's offered to raise his hand again to serve as vice president. So to come at him and suggest that his service wasn't honorable, or that despite all the records to the contrary, he somehow left his troops wanting leadership, is just ridiculous.
Again, 4 consecutive 6-year terms in the military, deployed to Europe and Turkey. He's got a list of medals: the Army Commendation Medal, 2 Army Achievement Medals. I think he was like the Military Citizen Award in Nebraska. He made rank of Command Major before then retiring to defend veterans in Congress and oppose the Iraq War, which again was started by Republicans on the basis of outright direct lies, showing their bloodthirsty manner and willingness to send our sons and daughters to die in pointless war. He did almost all that you can do for this country and did so honorably. And the fact that Republicans want to say, oh, well, it wasn't enough, should have every single veteran double thinking the morality of the party who claims to be the one that supports them and the value of sacrificing their life for this country, when MAGA is just going to find some way to pick it apart if you run against a Republican, and they're going to be largely ungrateful for it anyway. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video. We even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.